to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Could we have a roll call of the board?
Randy Briggs.
Here.
Tracy Edrick.
Here.
Dan Raincoat.
Here.
Tricia Whipple-Maxey.
Here.
Mark St. Charles.
Here. We do have a quorum tonight. We can conduct business. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, at this time, we'll open the first public comment period for agenda-related items. Anyone wishing to address the Township Board on an agenda-related item? Seeing no response, we will close the first call to the public. We'll move on to the consent agenda. You have the approval of the April 16th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, approval of the submitted bills list in the amount of $280,764.91. Any questions, clarifications?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and support. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, department head reports and requests. We'll start with Chief Gentry. Do you have anything tonight? I had you going, didn't I, Chief?
Yeah, actually, I do. Our open sergeant position, the application's closed today. We had one applicant. The testing is the week of the 31st. If the applicant's successful, then they will start on June 12th, I believe. If the applicant is not successful, then per the contract, we will go outside and we will post and we will have a summer of trying to find someone. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Kramer.
The only thing I really have is our cadet Miles Teachworth is graduating the academy tomorrow. Starting Monday.
Great.
So excited. There's 5 more. That's all we need.
All right, for both chiefs, though. Both chiefs. I was going to do this in the supervisor's report. This is a good time. Friday and Saturday, Myers Excavating is going to start whittling away on that topsoil pile. They're going to be there again Monday morning because I have 1,800 tons of asphalt millings coming in that will be going in that area right behind the topsoil pile. And that will be for us to use for our sewer treatment plant, Lakeview Cemetery, and once we demo the building to make the parking lot. So that will happen on Monday. So there's going to be a little activity there going on. Okay? With that, Tricia, do you have a treasurer's report?
Yes, we have officially submitted our notice of hearing, or got our notice of hearing with Hamburg Township and Heartland Township to do our strike of our delinquent personal property uncollectibles. 99% are either closed businesses or bankruptcies, and I have notified all the entities. I have to let them know that we have our hearing on June 5th. So I want to thank Hamburg Township for spearheading everything in regards to getting it submitted to the courts, and Heartland for, helping out, just kind of guiding us on how to do the process. We're looking at $133,000 in taxable dollars, like millages for every entity, from South Lyon to Brighton. And again, we've done our due diligence, but these are ones that we can only strike back 5 years. There were a couple that were kind of sitting out there from 2008, which I think might have been in business, but just they weren't paying, and then they finally went out of business. So we do have that list going on right now, waiting to hear back from any of the schools and any of the other entities if they have any questions. Talked to one of the entities today. They're in support. They understand that we've done everything we can to do it, but this is a process that usually you can do once a year to kind of clean up anything that's just kind of sitting out there showing in our receivables and on our tax roll. So I will let everyone know how June 5th goes, or if we get any notification back from any of the entities that they have some pushback on it, but that is our plan there. And I just want to mention that Madison, my deputy, went through her second year of the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association Institute and finished the whole week out. And I went there to actually teach a class on Tuesday to all the actually largest class, 200 treasurers. 80 of them were brand new in our first year, you know, at that class. And I got a lot of compliments on Madison being instrumental in reaching out and helping with a lot of the information that some of the new treasurers need. And I think that's great. And she came in to me today and said, well, I guess you're high flyer, we call it. It was one of our training sessions. They just put in a group email that now Maddie is spearheading and helping all new treasurers that have questions about Invoice Cloud, utility billing, anything that she's kind of learned as she's gone through. So I just want to kind of make mention that I think she's doing a great job, and Denise did an amazing job while Maddie and Grace were out last week and worked with me. So Treasurer's Office is now gearing up for July 1st tax bill, so. And I think that's all I've got.
Okay. And I would echo your comments about Madison. I had one while you were off here that a FOIA request that I needed to file or fill. And I went over and I asked Madison, I said, I need to find them old Northfield Township sewer books going back to the 1960s. And she said, oh, I know where that's at. And she went and grabbed the box, brought them down, and I was able to dig through them. I mean, I was surprised that Madison, for the little time she's been here,
Yeah.
really knew exactly where all them old books were at.
Well, I can take that off my to-do list. That was on my list to do tomorrow for you, so, okay, good.
No, I did tell Madison I was going to bill you for that,
Okay.
because that was a treasurer's function.
Yes.
But I took care of it. so.
Awesome, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got.
Okay, cool. There's no clerk's report tonight. Two quick things. One, this last week, a assessor, deputy assessor, and myself have interviewed two candidates for the personal property appraiser, or property appraiser. We actually have two really good candidates. The one we met today, I think, is probably, maybe a notch above, but fairly excited. We've got one more phone interview tomorrow. We'll decide if we're going to go to an actual set-down third candidate, but, pretty happy with the candidates that we have. Also, what I have done is I've distributed to the board members the email from Sarah Lester. Sarah was the one that ran the Green Oak Farmers Market last year. She's proposing to do it again this year. I do agree with some of her goals here by shortening it down a little bit. Putting, I think I follow her plan. Again, sticking with Thursday evenings, I think is better for everyone all the way around. It doesn't compete with any of the other farmer markets. This parcel up there on Grand River, let's face it, there's nothing being done on it, no use there. So I think this is probably worthwhile, in my opinion, to go ahead and let her do it again this year. Well, if the board agrees, I would throw this suggestion up because we have been in a conservation mode this last year. Last year, we covered the cost of the Porta-John, albeit it's not a lot, but I think maybe this year, if she wants to run the farmer's market up there, this might be her cost. And I personally don't see a problem trying it out for another year. I think we'll have to make a decision whether it's going to be a worthwhile endeavor in the upcoming years. I do think Michael and I need to sit down and talk to her regarding some of the vendors, but with that said, if there's no objection from the board or comments, I'll just go ahead and give her the okay to move it forward for this year.
My only comment is, I know that we had people reach out that there were some issues, and like you were saying, some of the vendors, I just want to make sure that if it's being advertised as a Green Oak Farmers Market, and they're putting our name to it, that it's really showcasing and giving us a good image in regards to that. And if it's, again, just being a beta tester again for this year and just shortening the time that she's there, I'm okay with that, but I really just want to make sure that it's, because people are going to see that and say Green Oak Farmers Market. We only did the, was it the garbage, the porta potty, and we did the posters we paid for last year?
Yeah, I think if she wants to do it this year, it should be her cost.
Right, right.
Well, we have cut out large item cleanup day. There's other things that we've cut out. We're looking at all our fee schedules. And again, right is right. If she wishes to do it, she needs to rent the porta potty for the short period of time that she's doing it.
Has she asked for anything?
Huh?
At this point, has she asked for anything for this year?
No.
Okay.
No, but I will explain it to her, and I'm glad Trish brought that up, because that is exactly where Michael and I were gonna go with it. We want to emphasize that you're using Green Oak Township property, you're using Green Oak Township name, and this is a direct reflection on the township, and it's very important that vendors and residents are treated in a respectful way.
Right.
That's the most polite way I can put it right now, and we're gonna emphasize that. Now, on the other hand, and I don't hear any objections to her doing it this year. Something I'm gonna throw out there. I've always been wondering about what we can do with that parcel, and it's a bad parcel, really, because the back half is in Brighton Township, the front half is in Green Oak Township, but it's owned by Green Oak Township. Debbie and I got kicking some ideas around, and I'm not gonna propose anything tonight, but a couple of things we were talking about. That'd be a neat place for garage sales, township garage sales on a Saturday. Or, one thing that I haven't seen in a long time is what's called swap meets. Yeah, and it's just some things we're trying to kind of kick around.
Food truck rallies, those are really popular right now?
Yeah, so I mean, if anybody's got any ideas on how we can utilize that property and make a few dollars too.
So I guess my biggest thing is the reason why it's called Green Oak Farmers Market, because Brighton Farmers Market is hosted by Brighton, and they have all of the backing of, I'm not going to remember the name of the company that gives out the coins to all the residents that need help with their financing to be able to go to the market. So I know maybe she named it Green Oak because it's in Green Oak, but do we take that back and not have it be Green Oak, or just let it be Green Oak this year and then see what happens?
I would prefer to leave it like that this year, because
Okay.
in one of the, also, the Brighton Farmers Market is Brighton Chamber of Commerce and Selcra.
Okay,
They both run that, so I don't want to compete against Selcra.
okay.
You know, so that's why Thursday's fine. If it was on a Saturday, I would have great reservations.
Okay, and I'm good.
I do know that if she ever was able to take off and actually grow it, Green Oak Village Place Mall is itching to get a farmer's market back there.
Loved when they had theirs.
Right, so if she can get it going, then that could possibly migrate over there, which would be a much better place too. So that's why I kind of want to give it another try and see how it goes. Is that,
Sounds like a good plan.
I'm fine with it.
okay, so consensus is to let her move forward, but we will convey our concerns.
Move forward without any cost to the township.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, that's the supervisor's report tonight. All right, we have the police department monthly statistics report. Someplace here? Or are you gonna do it, chief?
I can, but that's just more for information.
Okay,
I guess I can wing it, which is what I do for most things. So basically, we kind of got out of the habit of putting that in the board packet, and we were just kind of giving it directly and putting it on our Facebook. So just kind of keeping up with our stats. We've been going to start including it in the board packet every month after they're done. I know Sergeant Jane, who's there, he's been putting it on our Facebook page for the last, year or so? This stats, so just something we're starting to do again. So they're pretty much where they always are, even though was it 2 days ago, I think we had 8 crashes on US 23 because of flooding, so next month will be a little different. So,
Okay,
good.
thank you. Okay, going on to correspondence, there's none needed tonight. Okay, business items. You back up there.
All right, I'm going to do the first one, and then Sergeant Jane did the work on all the vehicles this time around, so he's going to do the next one. We're basically going to make our garage, we're going to make a true sally port. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, that's where we pull in with the bad guys in our car to put them in the holding cells. There was never a true sally port when it was built, so if prisoner gets loose, they have access to all our tools, shovels, stuff like that. So the whole point is trying to make that area super secure, especially now that we're moving a lot of the daily equipment to the garage area, just kind of make it easier for the officers to get the stuff in and out of their cars. So I called several places and I got a response from one. So that's always frustrating, but to basically run a fence in between, if you guys remember the building, we have the 2 big garage doors. It's basically going to run a fence in between the 2 to kind of separate the storage garage into the sally port. The cost is a little high because of all of the basically rafters and all the equipment up in the ceiling, so they kind of have to make the fencing go around all that equipment. So that's where it's a little bit more expensive than what we had hoped. But the total cost is just over $6,700, and we were planning on this for actually the last couple of years and kind of have the extra money to do it in this budget year.
So you're proposing to take it out of your Department Operation Equipment Fund, 729,
Yes, sir.
and it's a budgeted item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions from the board members?
No?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the fencing in the Sally Port to secure that area in the price of $6,764.
Support.
Okay, we have motion, support, discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dan Rickel.
Yes.
Tricia Whipple-Dancy.
Yes.
That's
Sorry,
you.
I get a little distracted hearing the background over there, sorry.
Tracy Audrey.
Yes.
Randy Briggs.
Yes.
Mark St. Charles.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to Police Department request to purchase 3 patrol vehicles.
Hello, thank you again for your time and attention. I'm here to request approval to purchase 3 vehicles. Pardon my voice, I'm kind of getting over some sort of ailment. The department wants to purchase 2 Chevrolet Tahoes and 1 Dodge Durango. The price of the Dodge Durango is $43,583. Each of the Tahoes is $53,677 for a total of $107,354. The proposal also includes room to purchase 3 Dell Latitude CAD laptops for each patrol vehicle, 3 Stalker radar units for each vehicle. The upfitting at cruisers estimated at $20,408.91 each for a total of $61,226.73. And graphics from Image 360 each at $2,291.20, totaling $6,873.60. Total budget would be $236,953.60, which is budgeted for the 25-26 budget year. We are requesting $250,000 to allow for any other room not previously calculated for.
So you're, in your recommendation, it's not to exceed $250,000?
Correct.
So you're giving yourself a little
Wiggle room.
wiggle room in case something happens.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was looking in here, I didn't see it, maybe I didn't go far enough down. What vehicles are being replaced?
So we are replacing vehicles 61, 62, and 67. Each are 2021 Chevrolet Tahoes.
Okay,
They're each at, yes, they're all crossed 70,000 miles. Those vehicles will be moved into administrative roles. Currently, we have two 2020 Chevrolet Tahoes and a 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe in those administrative roles. My understanding is that the township is interested in purchasing one of those, the 2016 Tahoe, and both the 2020 Tahoes will be sold at auction.
Brian.
Brian wants to.
Brian hasn't approached me on that yet.
Oh, sorry for the news.
So don't count on that money yet.
Sergeant, I
I haven't
got,
heard the price on that.
I got a question for you. Since we're getting two types of vehicles, are we in the same position we were a couple of years ago where you got to take what you can get? They're that
No.
hard to get?
No, it's not quite that drastic as it was before. The Durango is available for purchase now, is my understanding, and the Chevy Tahoes will be available in September.
Okay.
So we don't expect any significant amount of time for these to be
That was going to
implemented.
be my next thing, is it going to take a year, and will you get it within the budget year to have it delivered before, you know? Okay.
Like hen's teeth before.
We did 2 years ago with.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You know, as long as this tariff war doesn't keep going. All right, and this was budgeted in this budget year. So it's a budgeted expenditure.
Correct.
By the time those vehicles come in, they're going to have a lot more than 71,000 miles on them, too, for that matter.
The Tahoes, yes, I expect to get the Durango a little more quickly. We do have another 2025 Durango at Cruisers right now, and all we're waiting is a cradle point modem, which should be here Monday, and then once that's installed, which should also be Monday, Tuesday, early next week, we can put that in the fleet as well, which will alleviate some of that mileage accumulation.
Okay.
I will make a recommendation to approve the purchase of the above vehicles, allowing for upfitting and equipment not to exceed $250,000. The extra cost depends on the vehicles, and this is within the budget, so I make that motion.
Okay, so you're making a motion to accept the recommendation.
Yes, I apologize, yes, thank
I was
you.
listening.
This is why I didn't run the meeting.
Got it. Second.
I'll support that motion.
Too late, I got it already.
Okay, we have a motion and multiple supports. Discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Henry.
Yes.
Randy Ray.
Yes.
Dan Rego.
Yes.
Tricia Buckle-Bassy.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time
Very,
again.
very nicely done, too. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
So I'm going to fight you for that Tahoe.
I haven't heard about the Tahoe thing yet. Glad I hear it here at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is adoption of ordinance 01-2025, zoning amendment, chapter 38, art. For supplemental regulations, event barns. This was introduced.
Yep.
No comments, no changes,
Okay.
so it's here for adoption.
It's all yours.
Okay, make a motion to approve ordinance number 01-2025 to amend Chapter 38 zoning to add Article 4 supplementary regulation 38-203 event barns thereof.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion, support, discussion on the motion. Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Tricia Buckle-Bassy.
Yes.
Dan Rego.
Yes.
Randy Ray.
Yes.
Tracy Henry.
Yes.
Yes, the ordinance is adopted. Okay, with that, we will move on to the next item, which is the sewer rate study. And with us tonight, we have Ken Polka with Pfeffer, Hannaford, and Polka. Ken, you want to come up to the table, up to
Yeah.
the podium, wherever you want to go?
Hello,
And,
everybody.
Ken did our last rate study. Matter of fact, I think he's done all of our rate studies. Both were Centennial, Reichs, which we got to dig into that.
Yeah, we gotta
Deep.
get that one done.
And the sanitary, the sewer rate studies. And it's been quite a while, I think, several years.
Yeah, well, it's been like 3 years for the year.
Yeah, and, you know, obviously, we've made some significant improvements in this last year, or undergoing them, which I'll take a quick moment to bring everybody up to speed on that. The blowers are there, the blowers are setting in place. We're waiting for a control panel for the blowers. For some reason, Kennedy Industries is having a little problem getting that to us. The odor control is in place. They're putting the piping in. We're waiting for an electrician to run the power line over to the odor control. If the piping gets installed, I think Anthony's planning on running an extension cord over to it to get it running. So, yeah, it's 110 volts, so that's no big deal. But we're that close to finalizing those improvements.
Has there been an improvement since you were able to cap some of those vents that were open in the?
Well, we had some improvements on odor complaints. When we sealed the tank, we're still getting odor complaints. Not to the extent that we did before. None of us are totally convinced that it's from the sewer treatment plant. We still think there are issues with manholes and some of the collection system, but then again, nothing that we can put a finger on. Goal is get the odor control in, get the new blowers in so that we know the biological process is actually working better so that we can start to rule out some of that stuff. And it's a process of elimination. So with that, Ken, I'm going to let you walk us through the whole rate study and some of your recommendations.
Okay, all right. So we come in and we take a look at the past few years, the last time we did your rate study for your general township sewer plant here. And we look to see what the costs ran, get an idea of what the future costs are going to be. And we do basically an overall projection of your two main sewer funds, which is your operations and maintenance, and then, of course, your capital reserve type fund. The capital reserve type fund is where you spend the money from there to buy your capital items, like these blowers and these other major costs that you have to pay for at the sewer. And this is where the money is really going to be needed over the next several years. I've attached spreadsheets, and hopefully everybody has the letter and everything.
We got it here.
Okay, good. So I've attached the spreadsheets showing the projection for the O&M fund and also the projection for your capital reserve fund, capital reserve improvement fund, whatever you want to call it. That's where your monies go that you collected are designated just for that, if you will. So right now, the township has just one rate. The money comes into your O&M, you have a little bit of a surplus in there. As soon as you can, you transfer some of that surplus into this reserve fund. What we're recommending that the township do is create a separate charge that's just for the capital reserve, okay? So that would go into your capital reserve when you do your collections, and it's designated just for that purpose. That's what you're telling the users when they see that on the bill, okay? The guideline we go by is to maintain a certain amount of equity in each fund. Your O&M fund, we highly recommend that you maintain at least 1 year's of annual expenditures less the transfers that you have coming out of there into your reserve fund, which only makes sense. So theoretically, if we had a bad hurricane or an earthquake or something like that, if you have 1 year's of expenses in there, you could go a whole year without doing any collections. It's just a safe way to keep enough fund balance in there. Same with your capital reserve. We recommend with the sewer system that you have, the size that you have, that you keep at a minimum $1 million inside that fund, okay? So if you look at the spreadsheets, the O&M fund, you can see we show the projected revenues over the next several years, your expenditures, what your surplus is, and then when we add that to your beginning fund balance, coming up with your ending fund balance, and as long as you're staying within what we recommend, your rates are at a good price, all right? So right now, when we do all of that for your O&M and for your capital reserve, right now, and I have this listed out on the third page, right now your rates are at $106 per REU for your operating rate, okay? And that's per quarter. And then you have a $25 charge for all of your customers. You've got 400 or so out there that have grinder pumps, and they're not an easy thing to take care of. So the Township Board adopted a separate rate just for those grinder pump customers, an additional $25 a quarter. So you can see the total rate as it stands right now is $131 a quarter. Based on our projections, we're recommending to the Township Board that you create a separate charge of $15 per quarter for your capital rate, and you increase your O&M rate from $106 to $112 per quarter. So overall, you're going up, this first price increase would be almost 20%. So you can see that those are for the customers without the grinder pumps. Customers with grinder pumps would go up $1 per quarter, so they'd be at $26. You add that to the $127, you're now at $153 for customers that have the grinder pumps. That would be the biggest part of the increase. Going further into the future years, we're recommending that you go to 6.3% increase the next year, and then it levels out between 3 and 4%. And that's based on our forecast that we have right now. And as always, we recommend, not for our pocketbooks, of course, but we recommend that you do take a look at this every year to 2 years to make sure your expenditures are coming in line with what we believe they would come in at. A lot of it's, just projections, talking with the operators. We depend a lot on Anthony to tell us, what he thinks is out there. Others, such as Mark, he's probably the second one involved that just has a good handle on all this stuff. So we have meetings and we go through that to come up with these expenses, because that's really the driving force behind these rates. And the biggest one, of course, are these capital expenditures. That kind of sums up what I wanted to tell the board tonight.
Yeah, one of the reasons too, that we want to see that capital expenditure, replacement fund growing is, obviously in the next few years, we're probably going to have to look at upsizing our generator at the wastewater treatment plant. Not only that, we have a number of pump stations within Hidden Lake. We also have the Grand River Pump Station, the Vicky Jean Pump Station, the Bishop Road Pump Station, Bishop North. All of them in various degrees are going to need some maintenance and some work and new motors or pumps in the next several years. One of the other expenditures that we want to explore is we think there is an advantage of getting rid of the Bishop South Pump Station. What that requires, to do that, we have to upgrade Bishop North with bigger pumps, bigger motors. But at the end of the day, eliminating one pump station, especially in somebody's front yard that's prone to problems, shall we say, is an advantage to have that. And then one of our reasoning is, if the Bishop North Pump Station fails, effluent can back up from the wet well all the way north in the gravity line, all the way up and through all the gravity lines throughout the system, all the way through the Green Oak Village Mall. So bottom line is we have about 18 to 24 hours of storage capacity in the lines, if you want to think of it that way. Bishop South, you have about 20 seconds. That one fails and Bishop North comes on, you're in trouble. So that has been a problem spot that we've had, 20 seconds to a minute and a half. That well fills up and you're in trouble. Then the whole system's down. So it just makes sense to just get rid of that one. But that is one of our projects that we'd like to see happen in the near future.
You know, Mark, I've lived in Hidden Lake for 23 years now. When I first started, our sewer rate was like $79. And I don't think this is really out of hand at all.
That was one of my questions last time, because I pay Northfield, I'm in Green Oak, but I pay Northfield, and I just wondered when was the last time we actually had an increase to
In
the
this-
106?
Yep, this was like 3 years ago was your last
Okay,
increase.
okay, and then, like, it sounds like it's when you
Yeah,
first.
I think
okay.
it's, well within,
Ken, you handle other areas, MHOG and a few others. What's our rate compared to some of those?
You're on a little bit of the lower side.
Still on the lower side? Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
I think it's 162 over at Zuki Hamburg for operating maintenance and sewer debt over there,
Yeah.
and it's 162.50,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're still on the lower side. You know, obviously, we want to plan for the worst, but try to keep the rates reasonable for the residents too, the users of the system. One of the variables that's hard to predict, and as Ken hit it, grinder pumps.
Yeah.
We have 400-plus grinder pumps at any one time operating in the Tri-Lakes area. Grinder pumps have really been hard to get a hold of. Coming out of COVID, during COVID and coming out of COVID, the supply, there was much more demand than there was supply, and things really got critical. One of the nice things about all of us in this area is if we're low on grinder pumps and we need a grinder pump, we can go to Hamburg and get one. Of course, we got to replace it, or, Lyon Township. We all work together, back and forth, which is nice. But, again, I don't know what's going to happen to the supply chain here in the foreseeable future with grinder pumps. And we may have to make some decisions here in the future that if we can get our hands on, instead of buying 30, do we buy 50? If we can get our hands on 50, do we buy something else?
don't you
Because
rebuild some of them, though?
we rebuild them. There's a general rule, if it's the pump itself that's failed, usually you can put a new impeller, new seals, new bearings in the pump. When the motor and the stator fail, it's more cost effective to get another pump. Now, we don't throw the old pumps away, we've got a slew of them up at the Quonset hut. But, we do rebuild when we can. But that's the hardest thing here to kind of figure out. Now, one of the other things too, and Ken, I'm not sure that we got it, and we may have to look at it next year. The media in our odor control, that will have to be changed every, I think, 3 years.
I
Or
think
fi-
we have 3 to 4 years. is
3 to
what
4
we
years, and
told.
that's a $30,000 expenditure.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that, I believe that's baked into your 986 and 988 line
Yep.
items.
Yep. Yep, so, again, this is what it costs to run the operation.
And is this something we're looking at? I see fiscal year ending of '25, so if this obviously goes through, will that go on the next one, July 1 billing?
What I would like to do is, if the board agrees to adopt this rate study and make it effective July 1.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Make it effective July 1, because based on our sewer ordinance and our water use ordinance, I'm required to post these in the newspaper 30 days prior to the rate going in effect.
Yeah. So you would just have 1 quarter in the next fiscal year with the old rate, and then your new rate would kick in July 1st, yep.
Okay, so because we bill in the rears, the April, May, and June, that's, the bill that comes out is covering prior.
No, your bill that comes out September 30th or October 1st
That
would be the
That
one
would be
with the
the
new
new
rate.
Okay,
yeah.
so not July 1 would be the effective date for the billing, July, August,
Would be
September,
July,
October
Aug-
1st billing, okay.
Yeah, July, August, and September would be on this rate.
The new rate.
Yeah, the new
Yeah.
rate, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
not the billing that, okay. I
Not
just-
not this billing that we're in now,
No.
but the
that's-
upcoming bill.
No, the upcoming billing on July 1 covers April,
March,
May, and
April.
June.
Right.
So it would be an October 1 billing that covers July,
Exactly.
September, and
Right,
October.
right, we're,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure for purposes of
Yeah,
the notices going out, if you're saying it has to be posted 30 days, even though the billings cover back, because we bill in the rears, I just want to make sure that I know it's October 1 that we're going to do the billing for.
yeah, but you'll want to get the notices out a
Yes.
month before July
Yes.
1st.
The-
Okay.
The notice will say effective July 1,
Yep.
2025. These are the new
Thank you.
rates established
Okay.
by the township board
Okay.
at this particular meeting.
Okay.
Is the notice in the paper the only notice the residents get, or do we individually let them know? Because I know, 20% is probably not a big deal for some, but for people on fixed incomes, that's a huge increase.
We'll put it on the website. We'll have it posted in all of our places of notices and the newspaper, which
And
is
I'll put it in
required by
newsletter,
ordinance.
too, that
Yeah,
we do.
because, there's gonna be some concern, especially in the areas where the residents are on fixed incomes, 20% steep for 1 year.
But a lot of times for the questions we'll get is, what is the capital improvement charge, or what is the capital charge rate? What does that entail? And it takes time to explain it. But once we explain it, most generally, even though they may not be happy paying an extra $15.
Right.
But they understand that you have to put away for a rainy day. And another way to balance this out is to be able to say, if we have a sufficient fund to cover, emergencies or expenditures, that eliminates the up and down or drastic raises in your monthly rate due to a failure. So it's more of a cushion and a buffer.
Okay.
And we're going to call this a capital reserve charge or capital improvement, like the CIP, like we do for water.
Yeah, capital rate. is what I call it.
Capital.
Capital rate.
Capital rate.
Okay, just because we're going to get this set up in BSNA, so I'm just kind of,
Gotcha,
this all goes
gotcha.
through. I'm trying to preemptively get Denise prepared for the things that she
Good old
has to-
Denise.
Okay, awesome.
People don't want them to fail, that's for sure.
If the board's in agreement, I think a motion would be in order is to accept the rate study that was performed by Pfeffer Hannaford Polka. We'll use the January 6, 2025 date. It took us a while to get here. As presented and effective with their recommendations, and effective July 1, 2025.
So moved. Beat everybody on that one.
Support.
And we have support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Kelly?
Dan Rinko,
Yes.
Randy Brake,
Yes.
Tracy Eckley,
Yes.
Tricia Lightfoot,
Yes.
Arlene Carl.
Yes. Motion passes. We have our new rates, and I'll work on that. It'll be Monday now before I can get to it.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot,
Ken.
everybody.
Thank you for the work.
Yeah,
hard
thank
work.
you.
Evening.
One of the things that I need to sit down to with, we gotta discuss Rikes a little bit.
Yep, yeah,
But
it's next on my
also,
list.
I am working towards finalizing a preliminary rate study for the taking over the Greenwoods wastewater treatment plant. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do all the legwork, and I'll let you put the magic to it. So I'll let you know when we're ready on that.
Okay, that
Okay.
sounds great, Mark.
Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yep,
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone.
Okay, with that, Resolution number 9, 2025, ARPA funds. Does anybody have that in their packet?
It just wasn't bookmarked, it's there.
Yeah.
Is it?
There's on page 41.
Okay, well, I'm sitting here, it's not bookmarked. All right, okay. Well, trying to figure out where that was at.
There you go.
All right, this resolution is requested by Woodhill, Ryan Clark at Woodhill. And what this is doing is it's taking, reobligating the unexpended ARPA funds into the Township General Fund. And let's see. And what the intended purposes on that is so that everybody knows. Currently, I'm going out for bid for the Emergency Services Building, or we'll call it the Safety Complex Permanent Approach Driveway. That we will be bidding that out. We have approval from Livingston County Road Commission finally. I have a set of drawings. I have a number of contractors that I will be getting this bid out with. Timeline is and also within these ARPA funds is the demolition of Station 81, the old building. So again, we're trying to put the money into one basket so that we'll hopefully have enough to cover both events.
Do we have an idea of the amount of an obligated?
The amount that we have is approximately,
It's not in
and I thought Ryan put it in
there. I
here.
was
The
just-
total amount was in there, but I don't see the.
No, there's approximately 454,000 or 450,000 plus is left in there. Yep. And the concern I have is no problem with the $46,000 demoing the building. That's pretty well covered. What I'm concerned about is what is it gonna cost to put the new entrance in? And I'm hoping that we can cover it under that.
Nice.
If not, somehow we gotta cover it. I'm looking at two guys there. So,
Pressure's on. Could you use some of that stuff that you're getting from the driveway?
I thought we had that in there, but yeah, last time I talked with Ryan, and, yeah, is that
About
number?
450.
Yeah, it's about 450, in that range.
All right.
And this just helps, especially we just had to do our annual reporting, and then, making sure with the obligated funds and spending it, and just making sure, like Mark said, what we approved, or I wouldn't say the word adopted, when we were going through all the funds and what we were gonna use those funds for, so this is just them making sure that we're falling within.
Are you looking for a motion to adopt?
Yep.
I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 09-2025, a resolution to re-obligate unexpended ARPA funds.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and support. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Randy Ray,
Yes.
Craig Bianchi,
Yes.
Dan Rico,
Yes.
Kristen Michael
Yes.
Mark Charles.
Yes, resolution is adopted. Thank you, and we'll get this thing moving. My game plan is we'll get the building demoed July 1st. Bids will hopefully go out next week for the drive, or the entrance. I am putting a bid due date of June 20th, bid opening June 23rd. Reason being is I want to get all my ducks in a row. I have to recognize that there isn't a paving contractor in the world, either asphalt or concrete, that, and I want to look at it both ways, but you're not going to get anybody during that time period between school letting out and school starting. It's just not gonna happen. Everybody is paving school parking lots. So I'm putting that the area for paving will be available August 1st, but must be done by November 1st. And also within that bid, that I'm including that emergency vehicle traffic or traffic to both buildings has to be maintained. So I'm trying to work that all out. And I am trying to avoid $50,000 to $60,000 of engineering costs by doing it this way. I don't need a 150-page bid document to do that little section of road there. Yes, Chief?
We also should make sure that access for citizens to our various lobbies is maintained.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be some way to do that, because people come to his office to get things, people come to my
Yeah.
office.
If you could send me any comments, do. I have not, I'm putting the bid packet together now, so
Okay.
any comments you have of what needs to be done there, to maintain traffic and stuff, and help you guys out, I want to make sure that they, and I'm positive they can build the one entrance, keep the one there, and then pull it out, so, but any suggestions, certainly I'd appreciate it. Okay?
Mark, why don't you think that they're gonna have to take the old driveway out eventually, and that there's some more spoils that we could probably use if we can.
Yeah, that'd be something that we could use, especially, and you're not gonna get them milled, but, if you got deep fills, that would work, yeah. All right, with that, discussion items, there's none need, is there any discussion items tonight? Okay, committee reports?
I'd like to say something on how nice the Salkra ribbon cutting was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed the beginning part of it, but seeing the facility and all the hard work that was put into it and meeting the people that run it, it was cold that day. It would have been nice if it was the day before when it was like 75 degrees, but I think they had a pretty good turnout, so I just want to say, Dan, thanks for letting us know about it.
I was
and-
pleased about it, you know.
Yeah, yep.
And I've got one comment that I'd like to make, and obviously, I missed a couple meetings, actually, taking care of my wife after her surgery. And I do want to thank Trish for stepping up, running the meetings for me, and doing an absolutely, in my opinion, great job. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've seen the recordings?
Yeah, I have. She's a little too comfortable there.
Then I found out I wasn't supposed to sit in his seat. I'm like, I didn't know. I just assumed if I ran the meeting, I sat in the Grand Poobah chair. And then found out, no, you sit in your own chair. And Cynthia's like, then I already knew to focus you there. So I'm learning as I go along. So
No, but again, thank you very much. And it's nice to be able to have to do what you have to do and know that, things get done. And I think that's one of the key things here that I think is important. Here, with all of us here at the township, we try to cover each other's back. And I think that's really special. So, thank you. Okay, with that, no other committee reports. Executive session is none needed tonight, so we'll move into the last call to the public for anyone who wishes to address the township board. Seeing no response, we will close the call to the public, and we stand adjourned. And we